bridesmaid, never a bride. I've been searching for you all my life, waiting around to make things alright. Well, maybe you could stay the night.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Puckett. These are my two amazing dogs. We live a fairly normal life here in Nashville, Tennessee. Although I only know two people here, I don't own many things, I don't even have a bank account, and some might say I don't even have a real home. I live in this garage in some dude's backyard that he turned into a studio. And this is everything in the world that I own. But despite that, I can honestly tell you that at 35 years old, I have never been happier. That's not to say that I don't get my fair share of bad days. Without the storms, we would never appreciate the rainbows. But I'm no longer stuck. I'm finally free. Free to do anything I like. And not just free from jail, but free from a 17-year addiction that took almost everything I had in the entire world. Money, friends, jobs, relationships, and in the end, even my home. I tried for that last decade of my addiction to actually stop, eventually going in and out of rehabs in 4 different states. But it seemed like every time I got back on my own again, I would just pick up and start the whole process over. My addiction lasted all over America. Different drugs in different states and different attempts at sobriety. From Minneapolis way out to Seattle, even down in Kentucky and San Diego. This beautiful beach paradise that turned into a living hell of crack and alcohol. In every state in between. Every relationship I messed up. Everything I left behind in each one of these cities, leaving a wake of destruction in my path. Just trying to get better. I eventually ended my addiction with 4 years of homelessness, in and out of homeless shelters and halfway houses, sober camps and rehabs. But it seemed like nothing I was doing was working. And I thought I was at my lowest point. And then I eventually even ended up in jail. In my last video, I talked for 2 whole hours about my addiction and how it kept going despite any effort I might have made. So this isn't that video. This video is a celebration. Because I finally made it. After 17 years, I finally got sober. With the help of a few close family members and a few friends who refused to let me die. And that's how I can honestly say that despite how little I have never been happier. Just getting sober was never enough for me before. It took a lot more work. And that's why I was afraid that this time, that around every corner, around every weekend, was going to be another relapse waiting for me. But this time I finally got it. Today I celebrate 3 years of recovery. 3 years off the street. 3 years without a drink or a drug controlling my every move. And I'm finally free. free to do anything I like, and to finally figure out who I am. And so far, for the first time in my life, I love myself. I don't feel like I need a needle or a bottle or a woman or anything in my life except for me. So I'm no longer white-knuckling my sobriety, or even my sanity, for that matter. I'm finally just a face in the crowd. I'm just a normal person like I always wanted to be. But I've also been able to do some really incredible things now that my life is not consumed by drugs and alcohol. Even just since I moved to Tennessee 1 year ago, I've been able to do some amazing things here. Fundraising for homeless shelters, for halfway houses, for survivors of domestic violence. Over $50,000 in supply drives where thousands of boxes have come in for people who need them a whole lot more than I do. It's an amazing feeling to give back. And the mayor of the city even called me a hero. Are you serious? I think that's when it all became real to me. I've had a few different looks in my recovery, and I don't know if this one fit me so well. But it was all for a good cause. Growing out my hair for 1.5 years so my best friends in the world could come by and chop it off, and we could send it to a better place. An organization called Wigs for Kids. I'm no longer that person who sits in the back of a 12-step room afraid to share his story. I'm no longer ashamed of my past because everything I did in my addiction brought me to where I am now.
Mr. Puckett says playing pizza matchmaker is just one way he hopes he's paying back the people who helped him.
I had so much to give back, and I'll never get there. I'll never reach the point where I've given more than I've taken because I was taking for so long. So I feel like I'm still way under on that and have so much more to do before I can even break even in life.
So you might be wondering, what's the point? Why make these videos and talk about those 17 years that I used to be so ashamed of? To talk about my lowest point and keep reliving them. And it's because I wish somebody would have done that for me. If you're watching this right now and you can relate all too well to my stories of addiction and desperation, but not to my stories of recovery and triumph, I'm here to tell you to keep moving forward. All those psych wards, all those rehabs I went to, and went and just used alcohol and drugs again, I looked at as failures for so long, and now I can see them for what they really are. They're stepping stones. Progress is not linear. Failure does not start you over. It's all part of the process. If I can sum up in the shortest amount of words how I finally got sober, it would be, I never gave up. And I sure as hell hope that you don't either. Thank you so much for being a part of my recovery and for being there for me every step of the way.
Get it back to good, 'cause I don't know how, but I know that I should. I tried so hard, I never knew why. Who am I to find? Who am I to find? and he knows that